cut my finger last week, and at first it hurt so much, all I could do was just press it and hold it up, and I couldn't do anything else or think about anything else. Then gradually it stopped bleeding so much I could put a plaster on it and continue cooking the dinner, but really clumsily and slowly, and every now and again I'd have to stop and just pay attention to the pain. Then I'd get on with cooking. And now a week later, there's a scar. You probably can't see it. And most of the time I forget about the cut, but a couple of times a day it will just snag on something, or hot water will go on it and bring me up out of the blue and remind me of the cut. And I was thinking that's a bit how it is for me with grief. My friend Laurence died a few years ago. And at first, I just couldn't do anything. I was numb, I was in shock, she was gone, that couldn't be true. And how would I and her family live without her? That was like everything. But weirdly, life goes on, doesn't it? It's like the sun still rises and people still go for walks and go to shops and work when you want the clocks to stop. And gradually I would find there were moments when I'd forget my loss, my sadness, my anger, and I'd just find myself enjoying some nice food or a sunset, or even laughing at a joke. And then I'd think, oh God, how could I forget? How could I laugh and be happy? And, you know, that slight feeling of guilt. And that those episodes became longer and longer, the times when I could get on with ordinary life and not be all consumed. And now I can go for days without thinking about her. And then suddenly, out of the blue, something happens. And I think, I'll just tell her on that. Or she'd know how to make macarons. Or wouldn't she be proud of her kids? Look how well they're doing. And then she's not there. Although I do still talk to her in my head sometimes. So it's this kind of zigzag. It's like there's the grief, the numbness, and then back to everyday life. Think about the shopping, think about the cooking. Then you zigzag back into grief, at least I do, and reminisce or yearn or long or rage, and then back into everyday life. And you just cannot tell, at least I can't tell, when I'm going from one to the other. And at the beginning, there's a lot of time here in the grief bit, and with only occasional forays into the sort of restorative tasks. And then over time, spending longer and longer in the restorative bits, just occasionally zigzagging back into the grief. Everyone does it in their own time. Then I discovered there's something called the dual process model of grief that talks about how we zigzag between things. And I think it's a bit like the scars I have from previous cuts, which I live with. And I'm kind of fond of, and I wouldn't want them to go away, just like I do not want to ever forget any of the people I've loved who've died. They live on in me, they live on every life they touched. And you just learn to live with those scars, I think. It's not that they heal and go away completely. They heal so they're less tender to the touch. It's not as raw as when that cut first started. It can still sometimes get snagged on something and catch me. And I'll live with it all the time. But it's finding ways to live with our scars. Finding a new meaning in life without this other person. And it's something we all go through. So I just wish you well, wherever you are on the zigzag today, and however many scars and whatever size they are from the people you've loved and lost. And just know you're not alone. And be kind to yourself. Thank you.